Very good morning to all my viewers. I hope all of you are keeping sound health and are in a bliss. So today once again I'm here with a new lecture on a poem, A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. Okay? So in this lecture, I would be dealing about the poet, about the poem, theme, explanation of the poem, and then few questions along with the explanation. So let me begin with it. John Keats was born in the year 1795 in London to a poor stable keeper. He died in Rome in the year 1821 at the young age of 25 due to illness. He was a British romantic poet. He was trained as a surgeon, but he devoted himself to poetry, as he realized that poetry was his true vocation. Vocation means a true call. He was encouraged and appreciated by his friends for his writings. Leigh Hunt and Haydn were his, inspirers, and published his first volume of poems in the year 1817. He continued writing undeterred, giving his best creation, the great odes of his life. He is rated among the best poets in England. Now, children, I would like to ask you, what are odes? Odes are lyrical poems meant for a particular subject. He was the last to be born on this beautiful planet and the first to depart from this wonderful earth. With this, I would now like to talk about the poem. The following poem, A Thing of Beauty, is an excerpt from his poetic romance, Endymion. This poem is based on the Greek myth of the love of Cynthia, the moon goddess, for a young shepherd, Prince Endymion, who lived on Mount Latmus. One day, the Prince Endymion had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess, and thus the enchanted resolved to seek her out, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. The poem Endymion, as Keats himself wrote to one of his friends, is a test of his powers of imagination and invention. With this, I would like to move on to the theme of this poem. The theme of the poem rests in the opening line of the poem. A beautiful object is treasured in our mind because it provides us eternal and everlasting joy, delight, charm. The happiness never fades into nothingness, but it multiplies manifold whenever it flashes on our mind screen. Children, Keats casts a lyrical spell with a perfect rhyme scheme of AABBCC in this poem. With this, I would like to move on towards the explanation of the poem A Thing of Beauty. So, let us begin with the explanation. Children, before we go on a long drive to enjoy the beautiful poem, A Thing of Beauty, written by, John Keats, I would like you all to stimulate your mental as well as imaginative ability to drive into the beauty and mysteries of nature in this particular poem, children. Okay, so let me read out the lines for you. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Children, anything beautiful, it can be a smile of a little cute baby. It can be a majestic scenic beauty. It can be a beautiful thought, the beautiful words of your mother. Okay, it can be an excellent speech orated. Okay, it can be a good deed. It can be a visit, a celebration. Okay, children, it can be a beautiful emotion too. So now it is said that whenever you recall any such beautiful moment that occurred in your life or any such celebration that you have attended earlier, see, whenever you recall such a beautiful moment, because in everything there is beauty lying in it, but you must have this beautiful eyes to look into the, look and enjoy the beauty in it. See, if you go for a visit, rather than enjoying that visit, if you, sit down, the gloomy face and sadness, what is the use of you going for a visit? So that moment, that particular moment that you had gone for a visit should be enjoyed and relished by you, forever. So anything that you do, any deed that you perform, everything has a beauty in it. You must have this beautiful eyes to see. So, the little baby when it spreads a smile on the lips, it has, beauty in it. And that beauty, you should know how to enjoy or how to see the beauty in someone or in some few things. So thus, a thing of beauty here refers to the Mother Earth here, because John Keats was a nature lover. So thus he says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Anything that is beautiful, as I said, a beautiful moment, good inspiring words, scenic beauty, majestic moment, anything, it has beauty in it, and everything that you enjoy, it provides joy, it provides bliss to a human life. Okay? Now children, they say when we recall these beautiful moments, whenever we recall these beautiful moments, what happens? They give us pleasure, they give us charm, they provide us bliss, then they give us, they give us fascination, And thus, the loveliness of these beautiful moments, or these beautiful celebrations, or these beautiful gestures, these beautiful emotions, what happens, that the, you know, with the beauty, with the, with the passage of time, the beauty of these beautiful moments increases rather than fading and decreasing or passing into nothingness or becoming insignificant. Okay, children? Now, this thing of beauty, these things of beauty, they will keep a bower. Now, what is a bower? Bower. What is a bower, children? Bower, it is a pleasant, shady place under the tree. Okay? The shady place under the tree. Now, I would like to ask you, how will these things of beauty keep a quiet bower for us? ये हमारे लिए एक shady place कैसे बन सकती हैं? These beautiful moments, these beautiful celebrations, okay, the majestic views that you have enjoyed, the scenic beauty that you have, witnessed, or any such a joyful moment that you have spent with some of your friends. How these moments can, keep a bow for us. Now, children, this particular poem, John Keats primarily speaks about the beautiful bounties of nature. As I said, he is a nature poet. He was a nature poet. So, he's talking about the beautiful bounties of nature. Now, these beautiful bounties of nature meet the sun, the majestic views, the flowing streams, the twinkling stars. All these captivate our mind. Whenever we look at these beautiful, elements, or these beautiful moments, or the beautiful things, what happens? These moments captivate our mind and spirit, children, and thus we experience some rare and expressive moments in the company of the beautiful moon, the setting sun, the flowing streams, or the beautiful visits, the mountains, the scenic beauty, the twinkling stars. So, all these, when we are in the company of the bounties of nature, they fill our mind with peace, happiness and tranquility. Tranquility is bliss and happiness. So, as these beautiful and peaceful, moments, these moments that we have spent, they serve as a quiet bower or a shady place, which provide us shade not only from the blazing sun, the torrents of rain, but also from ugly side of life, children. They are a retreat from sadness and misery, and these beautiful moments, what do? They fill our heart, our spirits with peace and joy, and they uplift our mind. They uplift our mind and spirit, bestow good health, and make our life free from anxiety and stress. Now, children, when do we experience quiet breathing? See, when we are calm and restful, we experience quiet breathing. Okay, for example, for a little baby, children, a mother's lap, it is a bower. And when the little child grows to become an adult, the support, the moral support of his family members, the encouraging words and compliments that he receives from others, what do? Encouraging words, they become a bower or a pleasant shady place from where one derives peace and security. So, what is a bower? I hope you have understood with the examples that I have quoted here, children. But now, John Keats seems that, but according to John Keats, the poet of this particular poem, A Thing of Beauty, he says that the moment spent in the cozy lap of nature and natural beauty, okay, they provide a bower for human beings. That means the bounties of beautiful Mother Earth, they provide for human beings, okay, a bower. They provide a bower where one experiences good mental and physical health. Got it, children? I hope you understood. See here once again. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. As I told you, a beautiful moment spent with friends, a celebration that we had enjoyed, or a visit that we all had been to, okay? So they, in one way or the other, they all provide joy and bliss to human beings. And whenever we recall those beautiful moments, whenever we try to imagine, whenever we are carried back to those moments, what happens? As we think of those earlier moments that we have shared, what happens? The beauty of those beautiful moments, manifold, they increase, and instead of fading away every time that we think or recall those moments, the beauty of those visits, the beauty of those occasions, or whenever we think of any good gesture or good deed, the beauty of those moments keep increasing, children. And the beauty of such beautiful moments would never, pass into nothingness. Nothingness here means never decrease, would never fade, would never vanish. Okay? But these beautiful moments, they will keep a bower quiet for us. They would become a bower for us. They would provide us security. They would provide us peace, happiness, bliss. The moment we recall those beautiful, shade or the experiences that we had when we visited those beautiful places, or the beautiful monuments, or the beautiful, friends that we have been along with them, they all, they act as a bower. And thus, but as per John Keats, he says that the moments spent in the cozy lap of nature and natural beauty, they, provide a bower for human beings, where one experiences good mental and physical health, children. Okay, so let me move ahead. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Spite of despondence of the human dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways, made for us searching. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Let me explain you first these two lines. Children, these lines are rich with imagery, depth and meaning. Okay? So the flowery band is just a symbol through which the poet wants us to, poet wants us, or he reminds us of our duty towards nature and the green world or the natural world. Wreathing, or making a flowery band. Wreathing or making a flowery band means contributing towards environment and connecting with Mother Earth. What is this exactly? I told you there's depth in these lines. Okay, there's imagery, there's depth in these lines a lot. So what is this? It's saying, therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band? See, are we creating those beautiful memories on this earth? Are we, interrelating or connecting each memory to the other one? Are we trying to recall? Are we trying to relish those memories? Are we trying to enjoy those beautiful bounties of the earth? So, what is the main reason of writing these two lines is that the poet wants the human beings to connect with Mother Earth as well as the environment. Okay? So then he says that since the impact of nature in our life is so profound, therefore, every morning we are connecting ourselves with nature, or are we trying to preserve and respect the bounties of the Mother Earth? Are we enjoying the beauty of nature, or are we creating some beautiful memories which will strengthen our bond with nature? Are we doing all these things? Thus, the poet says that all the human beings, what is the poet saying here? All the human beings should strengthen their bond with the cosmos or the Mother Earth. And this can be done only when we create some beautiful memories, or when we get connected, or we enjoy the beauty of the bounties of the beautiful earth. Only then we would be able to create, we would be able to wreathe a flowery band, and that flowery band would be able to bind us all to the earthly life, and thus our earthly life would be strengthened. Okay, children? So let me read out the next lines. Spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for a searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from a dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon, for simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in. See the imagery used here, children. Are you able to see the imagery used here? The daffodils and the green world. See, when we speak about the daffodils in the green world, we are able to imagine. We are able to, imagine that beautiful scenery where the daffodils blossom in the green forest. Isn't it? Now, there are further too many imageries used here which, awaken our sensory organs, That's what is imagery. Something when we read, and that awakens our sensory organs, our senses. That is imagery, children. Now, in these lines, children, there are poetic contractions used. Now, what are these poetic contractions? Poetic contractions means the shortened form of the words. See here, S-P-I-T-E, spite. Spite, in place of spite, it is in spite. The word should be in spite, but the poet has used poetic contractions in these lines. So it is in spite. Then here, O-E-R, O''E-R. So this is over darkened ways. Okay. Now you come here in the next lines. Gainst, G-A-I-N-S-T, against the hot season. Gainst means against. Against. So, in this second and the third stanza, the poet has used poetic contractions, the shorter form of the words. But do not get confused, try to understand it. It's written here. So, let me explain to you these lines, children. The poet is saying here that, he says that in spite of the dejection, hopelessness, disappointments, these are the integral features of life, and so we often suffer pain and sadness. See here, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth. Dearth means decrease of human values. Inhuman here, people are becoming unhuman. They are losing their human values. So, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened way. In spite, the poet John Keats brings into life the fact that in spite of all the hopelessness, dejection, despair and disappointments, dearth of good noble people. Dearth means decrease, in the good noble people. The mere sight of a beautiful thing can uplift our spirit and remove our gloominess immediately. And it would give us immense joy, pleasure, and bliss. Such a thing of beauty would be the sun, the moon, the trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. So, shady boon to the simple sheep. It could be the incredible daffodils blooming in the cooling green world. As I said, beauty exists in everything. So, daffodils blossoming in the green forest, there's an imagery used, and it is a beautiful sight to view. So, definitely we would carry the imprint of those blooming flowers, blooming daffodils in the green world. Children? So, see, what are those, as per the poet, the beautiful elements of nature? They are the sun, the moon, the trees, which can be old as well as young, that are providing shade, to the simple sheep. See here, the poet is talking about the huge trees as well as the young ones. They providing a shady boon. Boon is a blessing, It's a blessing for the simple sheep, and thus they are the ones who are enjoying the shade of these beautiful trees. And let's not forget even the daffodils that are blooming in the green world they live in. Children? Next lines are, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make, gainst the hot season the mid-forest break, rich with the sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. So I've just read, such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Now children, What do you mean by clear rills? What do you mean by clear rills? These are the transparent streams. Okay? See here, cooling covert make against the hot season. So what happens? The mid forest break. Now what do you mean by break? In the middle of the forest. Mid means in the center of the forest. Breaks. What do you mean by B-R-A-K-E? Break means जिसको आप हिंदी में कहते हैं झाड़ियाँ. In English we call them as thickets. Okay? Breaks. Rich with a sparkling of fair musk rose blooms. So in the middle of the forest, we are able to see, the fair, the white musk roses blooming in the middle of the, thick bushes of the forest. It's that. So now children, I would like to once again explain till musk rose blooms from daffodils. Okay? For as it is said that, it means that for every sorrow there is a joy. So in nature too, we have a remedy for, every melody. So for the harsh summers, we have the enchanting, flowing, clear rills. Okay? We have the enchanting, flowing, clear streams, rills, which give us, what do they give us? They give us fresh, cool water and nourish the earth. It is what is the most essential, natural resource, that is water, that is required to nourish every part of the earth, children. Okay? Then here, see here, cover to make against the hot season. Against the hot season means during summers. So these flowing streams or the rills, the transparent water flowing streams, they what do? They give us fresh, cool water and nourish the earth. Then he says, then we have the break or thick moss of ferns. Breaks are nothing but they are जिसको आप कहते हैं झाड़ियाँ. Okay children? Ferns under which bloom मतलब उगे हुए होते हैं. Bloom, what blooms? The fair musk roses. And in those thickets, the fair musk roses bloom, and such a scene fascinates the human mind and leaves an indelible remark. Got it, children? What is the poet trying to say us here? He is saying that, for every sorrow, there is a joy or happiness. In nature too, we have a remedy for every melody. So, for the harsh summers, we have the flowing streams, isn't it? The enchanting streams or the rills which give us fresh, cool water, isn't it? And they nourish the beautiful earth. Then we have the breaks in the mid of the forest. In the middle of the forest, we have thickets. बहुत सारी वहाँ जंगल के बीच में झाड़ियाँ होती हैं. And उन झाड़ियों के अंदर the fair musk roses bloom. Thus, what happens? The blooming fair musk roses in the breaks, they provide, they fascinate us, they provide us eternal beauty that lasts forever and leaves an impression in our minds forever. And whenever we would be recalling that moment, see what would happen? That beauty of those, blooming fair musk roses in the thickets would increase rather than, vanishing, or rather than fading away. Got it, children? I hope you have followed here. Now I would love to read the next line. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Now, what do you mean by grandeur? Grandeur is the magnificent deaths of the royal leaders, or the leaders like Alexander the Great, Mahatma Gandhi, Shivaji, who have, sacrificed their lives, for the nation, for some certain cause. So, and such too, there is beauty even in the, death of those great noble leaders who have sacrificed themselves and, laid their lives for a certain cause. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty dead is the powerful rulers. Okay, children? So, what does it form here? The poet says that, so there is beauty in the, those rulers who have, sacrificed their lives for the cause of mankind, for the cause of good of human beings. So there is beauty lying even in the grandeur of the dooms. Dooms here means the death, the end of those mighty dead, or all those warriors, all those leaders who have fought for certain cause. There is beauty in the death of even those great mighty warriors. Okay, children? So all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So, beauty is the greatest gift of God to man, children, which has been, showered upon us, SHOWERED, showered upon us from the heaven above. Okay? This beauty is eternal and everlasting, in which, in whose glory men on earth bask and derive the perennial source of joy and happiness, children. As you all know, beauty in all respects, whether in growth or in decay, is a perennial source of inspiration, motivation to every human life. It is an endless fountain from where we can drink the immortal elixir of life, children. With this, we end the explanation of this poem, and I will be doing few questions with you all. I would like to now explain you the literary devices used. The first device used in this poem is alliteration. Now, children, what do you mean by alliteration? Occurrence of same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words, is known as an alliteration. Now, can you show me where is an alliteration used here? Can you show me where an alliteration is used in this poem? Children, noble natures, NN, the first sound of these words. Got it? Are you able to see any other alliteration, children? Come on, tell me. Is sprouting a shady boon. Simple sheep is here again. SS. Children? Then, see here, we have many more imageries used in this poem too. So kindly search in for the alliterations in the poem, children. Such the sun, SS here, okay? There's again an alliteration here. Sprouting a shady moon. See, with SS, again an alliteration is here. So kindly go through the poem and mark the alliterations, children. Now, what is, imagery? What is imagery? Imagery is creating a sensory effect of beautiful things. Okay? What do you mean by imagery? Creating a sensory effect. Okay, children? Now, where all imagery has been used here, can you point out where the imagery is used, where you are able to, feel that your senses are, awakened? Shady boon is here, imagery, children. Okay, got it? Then flowery band. Flowery band is also imagery. See, when we talk about the flowery band, that is how we are going to knit those flowers, how we are going to take each flower and we are going to form a garland or a wreath. Okay, got it what I'm saying? So that is also an imagery here used. Next, I think there's another imagery here with the green world. Okay, when we talk about the green world, we are able to imagine the green forest here. So it is also imagery used here. Okay, next one, we can talk about here the endless fountain. Endless fountain here is also an imagery used here, children. Okay, so this is how you need to find out where an imagery is used. See here, forest breaks, sprinkling of the fair musk roses, all these are imageries. You are able to imagine, you are able to feel the some movement in your sensory organs when you read your expressions given in the poem. Okay, see daffodils blooming in the green world. What is this? This is also an imagery. Now, what is the metaphor, children? A thing regarded as representative or symbolic of something else. Okay, or I would love to say that it is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. For example, immortal drink. This is an object of nature. Okay, like a never-ending portion of a drink. It is a never-ending portion of a drink. Okay, so children, you need to go through the poem and find out the metaphors, the imageries, the alliterations used in this poem. Okay, now let me share and discuss few question and answers with you. Okay, children, I would like to even talk about, see here, there is, I think, another device used in the poem, transferred epithet here. Unhealthy and over darkened ways. Okay, see here. So this is again a transferred epithet used here. So let me talk about the questions now. I would like to ask you, children, what images of beauty does the poet refer to? The poet sees shades and colors of beauty in the sun, the moon, the trees, the innocent sheep, the blossoming of the daffodils, the rivers, the streams, mass of ferns, blooming musk roses, and in every aspect of this green world, we live in. Okay, now list the things that cause suffering and pain. Keats was a very sensuous poet. He worshipped beauty, for which he nurtured overwhelming passion. Okay? But the pain and suffering of his life made him realize that sorrow and suffering was, central to life. Even while celebrating beauty in full measure in this poem, Keats could not remain indifferent to the pain and hopelessness one suffers on account of the inhuman dearth of noble nature or the hostile and inhuman attitude that makes our days gloomy and dark with despair and despondence, children. Okay, now what does grandeur of the dooms imply? Children, growth and decay, march hand in hand in nature, and thus they are two vital aspects of life. The poet sees beauty in the magnificent decay and death of these beautiful creations of nature. Now explain the mid-forest break. Nature is beautiful in all its aspects. The poet enjoys nature's beauty in the thick forest, undergrowth which is brimming with the growth of musk rose, musk rose flowers. What does clear rills refer to, children? Clear rills refer to the rivers and streams which are the natural source of water, the elixir of life. Okay? Explain with the green world they live in. Daffodils live in the green world. So nature's beauty is at the best in the lush green surroundings of the pastures which provide the life support to all plants and animals. No living creature can be happy away from nature, and in this green world that they find the true joy and happiness of life. Now, what does the reference simple sheep symbolize? Lambs and sheep are the embodiments of innocent and serene beauty, children. Jesus Christ, as an apostle of peace, was a shepherd and was seen surrounded by his flock of sheep, his followers. The poet has made specific reference to the sheep as symbol of divine beauty. Okay? Now, what images of beauty has the poet referred to here? I think you can easily answer this question. See, he sees beauty at its best through the different objects of nature. He appreciates the simple and serene beauty through the image of sun, the moon, the trees, the sheep, the daffodils, the green pastures, the rivers flowing, the musk roses blooming. So these are all the objects of beauty, So what, according to the poet, do we try doing every morning? What do we do every morning? Life on earth would really be a pain without the beauty around us, children. So the poet feels that every morning we weave a wreath of flowers which bind us to the earth and make us live our life. Explain wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. As you all know, Keats was a worshipper of beauty. He felt that life on earth would not be worth living without its treat of beauty. In this expression, he expresses a similar feeling as he feels that every morning we weave a beautiful string of flowers or memories which help us to support ourselves on this earth and motivate us to live our life here, which would otherwise have been a pain. What does the expression spite of despondence imply? The poet sees life as a struggle where man often suffers pain and loss of hope. The expression refers to suffering and hopelessness and dissection of man which he experiences at various junctures in life. Okay, children? Now explain unhealthy and over darkened ways. Now, to be able to enjoy the light and the dark end of the tunnel, one has to cross the darkness. The unhealthy and over darkened ways refer to the trials and tribulations one encounters in the journey of life. With this, I end the explanation of the chapter as well as the discussion of questions. Children, take care. Good day to you all. Goodbye.